Hey everybody, Ryan here with Ray's latest, and today I want to talk about some potential lefty bullpen additions that can kind of help bolster the front and the back end of this bullpen. We, as of right now, on the 40-man roster, outside of the McClanahan and Matz as a starter, you have Seymour, who's been a starter for the majority of his minor league career, hasn't really made any relief appearances. You have Joe Rock, who's kind of been up and down with the starts and reliefs throughout his career, but primarily in a relief role. And then you have Clevenger, who's the primary guy that's guaranteed at this point to be on the opening day roster. He's really the only guarantee lefty on our opening day roster. Waldachuk hasn't pitched in a major league game since 2023. Is the only other lefty that's on the 40 man. In his majority of his, I think all he's made 40 starts or 40 pitched in 40 games in his big league career, and five of them were not starting. So from a relief perspective, there's really only one guy that's set in stone on the 26-man roster that's going to be a lefty in the bullpen. And that's kind of concerning to me, especially with the way Cash loves to run with matchups and things of that nature, which it's kind of taken a little bit different of a role and a different kind of outlook on how he does things, just specifically based on the three batter minimum. You can't go one for one anymore. So there's a little difference when it comes to managing games and kind of managing how you go about matchups. And it's more of if there's two guys in a row that are lefties, that's kind of when you're going to see your lefty kind of get up and go. And that's kind of more of kind of just a difference that we've seen with how Cash manages a game when it comes to going lefty lefty or righty righty. It's a lot more difficult when you have that three batter minimum, unless you end an inning, you don't have to restart an inning. You only have to face the one guy in the inning. So it's a little bit different. You can get away with having less lefties kind of in your pen that way. But here's just a couple guys that I've kind of had my eye out on for a little bit of kind of some free agent lefties that are still unsigned that I would like to see maybe a possible push at. And the first one's Colby Allard. And he had a great 2025 in Cleveland. He had a 2.6 ERA with a 4.67 FIP. So FIP, or he had a 3.54 FIP, rather, sorry. So FIP is kind of fielding independent pitching, kind of the only things that you can control. So having a lower ERA than a FIP is actually, he's a little more lucky than pitchers usually are. Usually your FIP is more indicative on what you can control as a pitcher, not balls in play and things of that nature. His ERA was a whole point lower than his FIP, which means he was extremely lucky last season. But it just goes to show if you put the ball in play, he only had a 5.8 K per nine, which is a little concerning, especially from a reliever, and a ball in play batting average with balls in play at a 289. But the one stat that really sticks out to me for him is his left on base percentage is at 80%. That is really good when it comes to coming in tough situations, and especially the mess you create being able to get out of that 80% of the time with runners getting on base, 80% of them don't score is fantastic. It's kind of a really good stat to have, and it was the best of his career by a large margin. His ground ball percentage was 38%, which is good. And his home run percentage against his fastball was only 5.6% last season, which is outstanding. That's phenomenal. And him having that good of success, and he has five pitches. I mean, he's 38% of the time he's throwing a fastball, 20% of the times changeup, cutter 13, sinker 10%, curveball 19%. So he's kind of mix and match in what he does. He had a 1.2 WAR last in his career, and last season had a point 0.7 WAR, which for a reliever is actually pretty good in 65 innings. So with a walk rate of 5.3%, that's elite coming from a reliever. 5% walk rate is fantastic. So that's kind of somebody that I've been looking out on along with some other guys. Some other potential kind of reunions I would not be horribly opposed against is Jalen Beeks and Colin Pache, kind of bringing those guys back who was really good for us in 2020, 22, and 23. Beeks was very good before he got injured in 2020 in 2020 and kind of 2021. He was really good, 2.8 ERA in 22, and kind of once he kind of hit that stride after injury, is to a 5.9 to a 4.5, and then last season in Arizona he hit a 3.7, which is not horrible, especially from a relief standpoint, with a point 0.6 and point 0.2 WAR over the last two seasons. So that's also really good. Another guy I like to see that I've been looking at, John King, had a 4.6 ERA last year in St. Louis with a 21% home run on his fastball percentage, which is that's a little concerning. Um, Primarily just because playing in Tropicana Field, you see a little more fluctuation being inside with how the fastball carries and how the fastball gets up in the air with the dome and things of that nature. Kind of getting more elevation off his fastball is a little concerning to me as well. He had a K percentage of only 5.2 per nine last year, but he had a 2.6 walk per nine. So it's over the two to one, which you kind of really look for. And then he had a 1.49 home runs per nine, which is really bad. That's 1.5 home runs for every 9 innings that he's pitching. Not ideal. Batting average against balls in play for him is a .331, so 330. Not good either. But the thing is with him that kind of it's the left on base percentage is at 76% again. So in his ground ball rates at 60, it's he keeps the ball on the ground and he keeps runners on base, but he has this skewed percentage of his balls that do get put into play are hit really hard and they're usually hit for homers, which is a problem when it comes to clutch situations, especially in a bullpen perspective. So that's kind of a concerning name or kind of statistic for me, but that's a name that I was just looking out for on the free agent market. Currently, still as a lefty. And kind of the last guy I want to talk about is Danny Colombe. Last season in Baltimore, he had a 2.23 ERA with a 3.3 FIP. Really good numbers and statistics there. Ground ball percentage at a 39%, K percentage nine strikeouts per 9 innings, so about one per inning, 3.7 walk per nine, home run per nine, point 0.6. That was the second to lowest of his career, which is fantastic. Ball and play or batting average against ball and play, 260. So it's good numbers. His left on base percentage is 86% last season. Great numbers. That's what you look for a reliever is being able to keep people on base. Ideally, not let them on base, but keeping them there once they are there. And an 86%, you can't really get much better than that. And his home run off his fastball percentage is only 6.5%. So it's guys like that that are kind of concerning to me that are still on the free agent market. And when you only have one guaranteed lefty on your 26-man roster, you need more lefties. And especially when you get on a 4 game stretch, you throw Clevenger back to back, and you need another lefty out of the pen on that third day or that fourth day where Clevenger's getting his rest. You you don't have anybody to go to in a situation where there's two outs in the bottom of the ninth inning and bases are loaded, and you're facing a left-handed hitter that hits 125 against lefties, but he hits 380 against righties. And you bring in a guy like that that comes in to pinch hit, and you're like, well, we don't have anybody to face him. That's what would get to a problem with that, and that's why we need more lefties in our pen. But you guys, let me know what you guys think about the bullpen, kind of where it stands, and any other particular names you would like to either trade for or kind of free agents you would like to go get from a left-handed perspective. And you guys have a great weekend.